Hi and welcome. I'm Roger Philipp of Roger CPA Review. Today I want to talk about how the Tax Reform Act affects accounting majors. Now, as I mentioned in an earlier video about how the Tax Reform Act affects CPA candidates, the Tax Cut and Job Act, known as TCJA, was passed on December 22nd of 2017. It made significant changes to the tax code, including lowering the corporate tax rate to about 21%, where it had previously been about 35%. It increased the standard deduction and the child tax credit, basically doubling those. So the standard deduction was a little over $6,000. It went to $12,000. And if you're married filing joint, that's $24,000. So many people that used to itemize, do Schedule A, will no longer need to because of that $24,000 standard deduction. The child tax credit also went from $1,000 to $2,000. Plus they changed the phase-out threshold up to about $400,000. So most Americans would qualify and get that $2,000 benefit, which will help stimulate the economy. It also limited certain itemized deductions on your Schedule A, and I have a mnemonic I teach my students, commit this to memory, which is charity, other miscellaneous, medical, interest, taxes, theft, and casualty. So that involved a variety of areas like charitable contributions. They increased it to 60% instead of 50% of AGI for cash donations. Property taxes and sales taxes, state taxes as well, are now limited to $10,000 per return. Mortgage used to be $1 million, $1.1 million with equity. Now it's limited to $750,000 of principal. Casualty losses are now federal disaster areas only. It also created a new 20% deduction, and that would be for things like business owners, like pass-through entities like S-corps and partnerships, for example. This is probably one of the biggest changes we've had throughout the entire tax code in the past 30 years. So it's significantly changed both individual taxes, but also business entities, which a lot of you may be studying or have studied in school already. Now, we've also discussed how the Tax Reform Act affects CPA exam candidates. So let's talk about how it affects you, the accounting major, the accounting student. One way is it increases your marketability. The new Tax Reform Act has increased the reliance upon accountants to make sense and to understand all of these accounting tax changes. This means, well, more accounting jobs, especially for those of you who may specialize in taxation. Also, it prepares you to enter a career where you'll be offering this amazing advice about how all the new tax laws will affect your clients' finances as well as their financial statements. Updated curriculum. If you haven't completed your tax classes in school yet, then you might decide to hold off a little longer, or at least as long as possible until the curriculum is updated. Because what I found is normally a publisher is about a year to a year and a half behind, which means that the books that are out today still cover the old rules. Some of the professors I've talked with are currently taking the older books and making edits to those and updating them as they teach it. So the tax reform bill requires updates for the accounting textbooks in order to align with all of the new tax regulations. Now again, most of the universities are currently working on this, but that's something to keep in mind. It also has increased the value as a CPA designation. So obtaining the CPA designation is more valuable now than ever before. Being a CPA in conjunction with specializing in tax will provide you with a variety of career opportunities. Public accounting firms typically require a CPA designation. Due to the increase in the demand, being a CPA will best position you for a job in public accounting. I know I worked hard for my CPA certificate. I'm very proud of that. I'm going to put that on my tombstone. Even if public accounting position isn't for you, having those 3 letters behind your name will set you apart from other job candidates. Plus, it looks great on your resume. So whether you're a CPA exam candidate or still an accounting student, be ready to embrace the effects of the new tax bill. But also, be aware of the opportunities that these changes provide for all of us in the accounting profession. So if you're planning on becoming a CPA and you've already completed your tax classes, our recommendation is, hey, sit for the reg section of the exam now, right? Sit for the CPA exam now during 2018, because a variety, and most of that stuff is stuff you've already studied in your individual tax and your business entity taxes as well. So you want to take that, and that way, instead of focusing and relearning all these new monumental changes, you've already covered those. The AICPA announced that it will not be eligible for testing testing all the new rules until January of 2019. So again, our suggestion, take the reg exam now to avoid having to relearn all of the stuff that you may have already seen in your tax class. Now, you need help working the reg exam into your busy schedule? Not a problem. Our SmartPath predictive technology is the most effective way to maximize your study time. It's a data-driven platform that tells you how much and where to focus your efforts. So it'll show you exactly what to study and how much. It takes the guesswork out of the CPA exam preparation. It'll also help you pass the exam faster than ever before. Now, if you don't feel prepared to take the reg exam in 2018, don't worry about it, because as a Roger CPA Review student, your study materials will automatically be updated to all of the new tax changes. So that way, when you're ready to study for the January 2019 reg exam changes, your online course will automatically be updated for those materials. So no matter when you take the reg exam, whether you take it now, whether you take it in 2019, don't worry, we've got you covered. And we will guide you on the smart path to CPA exam success.